All right. Hello, everyone. This is Blue Lotus Rising, and I'm coming to you after what I know is a really long time away. So, for those of you who are my subscribers, I'm really, really sorry that I've been away for so long. I think part of it was practical. Like, these last 2 months have been insanely busy for me. And I'm sure they've been busy for a lot of you, but I just felt like I couldn't get into the headspace to do readings because when I do readings, I tend to take a lot of, I do a lot of meditation beforehand, and I have to feel like there is something for me to channel when I do them. So I just haven't felt like I've been in that headspace. There's also just the fact that, and I'm just going to be honest here, I've also wrestled a lot with the twin flame journey because I've increasingly felt myself getting more and more detached from it and starting to feel like there is this love that is very deep, but I guess I'm starting to just let go of expectations because I'm in that group of people who have not been in contact for a very, very, very long time. And what was starting to happen with me in sort of November, December, was that I had initially started with this feeling that union was very, very close for me. I mean, if you even see it in the readings, there's a lot of this sense of, union is extremely close. And I was seeing that in the cards, even when I did personal readings for myself, and not seeing anything like that happen in real life. And that was leading to this big gap, between what I want and what is. And that was making me feel like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I watching these videos or reading cards for myself? And why am I even, asking this question about union? Because it just doesn't seem to be materializing at all. But what I've come to realize is that, so moving away from this, expectation of union and honestly doing twin flame readings for other people kind of made me feel worse because for a number of clients I have, they did meet their twin flames. And I shouldn't say worse because I did feel really happy for them in the last month or so. I think one client I have, I'm not going to mention your name, don't worry. She met up with her twin flame after 5 years apart, 2 years not talking. And they really, it just happened in the way that we both knew it would happen. I mean, she also had very strong premonitions of how it was going to be. And it was really, and they're still going strong. So they had met in the first week of December. So for me, it was extremely vindicating. It was very validating to know that my reading for her had come true. But at the same time, I'm only human, so it did make me feel a little bit like, well, am I just, the medium? And am I helping other people, but is my union never going to happen? And I decided to just let go of doing tarot for a while and just see where that took me. And I met someone and we went on a date and I met another person. And you know what was interesting is that I met these two people exactly on like the day after I had written that I wanted to be released from this journey, like this contract, what I felt was a contract with my twin. And I wrote this up in a letter. And then I went to a river that is nearby, and I set fire to the letter, and I watched it burn, and I let the ashes drift. Because I said to myself, release this, let it go, because it's taken up too much of your life, and you now need to be able to be seen and see the many wonderful men that are around you. And I could not have made this up. Like I did this ritual, and I do this ritual. It came to me in a dream, and I've started doing it in the last 2 months or so. And the day after is when I met two men who I thought were actually the kind of men that I've always kind of wanted to meet. But regardless, what happened is I went on dates, and I still came back to this feeling that they weren't right for me. And they were not right for me in a very obvious way, So I don't want to get into that too much, but I'm hoping that me telling you my feelings is not a distraction. I hope that it's resonating with you. And for those of you who feel the way that I do, if you're further along, if you've come to other realizations, if you've gone through some of the same patterns as I have, please write down below. Like, we can help each other. We can help each other learn from each other's experiences. So to wrap this up now, I sort of departed, and then I came back this month to this feeling that no matter how hard I try, I keep coming back to the original twin flame. However, this time, what has happened is, in January, I've made peace with the fact that this is not something that I need to think about in a very active sense, as in make it happen. It's just that I can't get rid of this person in my mind. So I've decided to let that just be. And even though I'm busy, I feel like a lot of channeling has been coming to me about this union. So I feel called again to take up the mantle and start doing twin flame readings on a regular basis again. I will be doing other kinds of readings, and I'm going to start making videos that explain the kinds of things that I do. So do watch out for those soon. And if you're curious at all, please write to Blue Lotus Rising 2018 at gmail.com. It's also going to be there in the description box below. Okay, so that was a lot of information in the beginning, and but I just felt I needed to say it for those of you following a similar path. Okay, now I've already pulled the cards. Now the question I asked for this reading was, what are twin flame energies for the upcoming blood moon, the wolf moon? I'm sure some of you have been reading about it. There is a full moon in, I forget the astrological sign, but it's on the 21st of this month. And it's supposed to be a very dramatic moon. It's supposed to be a sort of conflict between emotions and, the things that you have to do in the world. But what I'm getting for us, twin flames, is that it's actually a very positive moon. It's not something to be alarmed by. Don't be alarmed by the bloodiness of the blood moon. And it's called blood moon because it's red, apparently. Because something very positive, like a valve opening up, is sort of going to happen around that time. And my reading, which was about what is the energies at this time before the blood moon and by the blood moon, confirms that. Okay? Again, every time I pull cards for you guys, they always, for twin flames, that is, they always come out very positive. So this time as well. Now, what I've done here is I've seen this line as the masculine energy, and this line is the feminine energy, and this is their combined energy. Although the more that I do this, the more these energies are really sort of our combined, masculine, feminine combined energies. We are starting to really resemble each other. But still, I'm going to keep some level of separation here. But know that if you resonate with something on this side, it's the masculine within you that these cards also speak to. Because we all have masculine energy within us, even if we call ourselves divine feminine, and vice versa. So we start off this month with a sense of ending. This has been coming for the last few months. We are going through some kind of big ending that is dragging out a bit. And it might be twin flames because we are sort of moving slower than we should be. There is a sort of plan in place for us to release certain things in our lives. And we are doing it, but we're doing it hella slow. We're doing it very slowly. And the message from Spirit is always, do it, release, come on. There's a whole big life ahead of you. But we are taking our sweet time. And just as in other readings, it comes up again. This death is happening, not a bad death, but a death of some old part of you. And we're doing it slowly, so there's a lot of waiting around. We're hanging upside down. This is a slow process that we're a part of. And then the world symbolizes again that circle, things coming full circle and a closure. So this is the energy of closure in January, this upcoming week. So both twins are in that energy of closure. For the masculine, it's a more, shall we say, beautiful closure. Like the world is a very optimistic card. It also symbolizes journey, traveling in the world itself. And there's this sort of optimism about this, because if you look at the figure's stance, it's a very open stance. Now, for the feminine, it's also closure, but it's also somewhat more final and there's a certain sadness attached to this closure. So it could be that the masculine is completing something, and in that sense it's closure, like work or a job or a relationship, and he finds it freeing. And the feminine is also letting something go, but kind of because she has to. And it's been a very painful process. So she ends it, and it's a bit of like, it's a relief, but it's also, there's some pain associated. Okay. Now, I will be able to sort of be really helpful here if some of you weigh in on your experiences, because for me, this does speak to a situation that I'm in, which it's kind of like a long drawn court battle. It just keeps going and going and going and seeping out blood as if you were stabbed 10 times, right? And I do know that it needs to conclude for me to be free. Whereas I think this energy of the masculines is like, oh, all right, I'm done now. Like there's this element of pure just pain is not there. Suffering is the word. Okay, that I'm not saying masculines haven't suffered. They have a lot. But right now, they are not in the mode of suffering. They're in the mode of completion. And feminines are also completing, but it leaves a trace of regret. Okay, regret is the word that I'm getting. They feel some kind of regret. They're also closing, but something they wish they had done, something that had worked out differently. There's more emotion attached to this closure for the feminine, okay? Now, what is sort of the deciding factor this coming week? What does everything depend on, okay? Because this is the outcome. And I always read cards in this way, in this contingent way, like things can change, things cannot change. It depends on you, because I'm not somebody who believes that there is only one fate for everybody, that the fate is ironclad. I think that there's a lot of room for agency, and in fact, that is what life is about. So the energies themselves will tell you, here's what you need to do, and then it's completely up to you whether you do it or not. And clearly, we have been delaying this closure ourselves, which is why, we keep getting the same message in multiple readings. So it's up to us. We could choose to do this. We could choose not to do this. We could, if it's a warning, we could choose to heed the warning, or we could choose not to heed the warning. But something about this middle line that I always pick always determines the nature of the outcome, okay? So for the masculine, what he's going to face over this coming week is the possibility, the idea of holding on or withholding his gifts from the feminine. This is something that's going to come under scrutiny. Like this figure is holding on to all his pentacles for dear life. Like he doesn't have a huge amount, but he has some. And he's scared of losing what he has. That's the key message. The masculine is scared of losing what he has. Does that mean he doesn't love the feminine? No, it's just that he's aware that he's achieved some emotional stability. And if he should, for those of us who aren't in contact, if he should make contact, he's worried about losing his balance. He's losing his self-worth, losing his sense of stability, yeah. And I'm reading the wealth of stability here. But there's also a concern that he might lose track of what he's supposed to be doing. The channeling I'm getting is the masculine is a very ambitious, very, very ambitious entity and energy. And he needs to achieve a certain benchmark in his life before he's going to be satisfied and before he can even think about union. And he's getting close to it, so now he's worried that if he starts this conversation, he might lose focus. He might jeopardize his ambition, okay? But that is the key thing he has to work through this week. And the feminine has to recover from this sense of regret, of loss, of something big in her life not turning out the way she wanted and her giving up. It could refer to romance, but I'm also getting the sense that both twins are very much in mission right now. So this is about her mission. There's some aspect of the divine feminine's mission that she has come into, soul mission, but there is something outstanding that needs to now be dealt the final blow. Like maybe she needs to leave her previous job. Maybe she needs to leave the location she is in, and she's going to do it soon. That's the thing that's going to set her free. Okay. Now, the message is that this week she has to get out of the swords, which is a mental energy, and come into wands, which is deep creativity. This is where divine feminine is happiest, in the deck of the wands, because the divine feminine is essentially a creative energy. It creates the universe. It creates everything in existence, with help with the masculine, of course, but the feminine is the creative force. And therefore, she needs to come into the king of wands. So she needs to be at the apex, at the top of her game. And it's just not about a competition. It's more that she is called upon to use her creativity this week. And that is in terms of her soul mission. Okay. So she at work, divine feminine, you've got to chill out. You've got to move out from your mental fixations and your anxieties and worries and loss, which is mostly related to the mind, okay? So get out of your mind. Maybe go for a run, go for dance classes. I think, dance, something that is kind of going to awaken the sexy, creative, fun, playful part of you, because that is where your work is. That is what you're supposed to do this week. And if you can get into it in a really big way, like let's say you take up theater and just give yourself to it. Take a dance class and shake that ass like no one's ever done before. Like a Polaroid picture, right? I know it's a dated reference, but hey, like I'm making references. I'm not a nerd anymore. Don't comment on that, please. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. Do something exciting. And what is going to come as a result of the masculine of him stopping being protective and her actually leaning into her creativity is that their energies are going to work together. The three of, Pentacles. Yes, Three of Pentacles is about collaboration, about building something in unison, okay? So they're going to come together this week. There's a big chance, okay? I no longer make these final pronouncements. I've grown older. My birthday was in December. I'm mature as hell now. I don't say things like, this is definitely going to happen, because who knows, right? But I do see that the energies are there's very strong potential. So it makes sense for those of you watching to take the messages on board and do what you can with them. And that will advance you, if not take you the whole way, it will advance you enough to create forward motion. Okay? So be creative, shake it. Stop being anal. And so why am I so fixated on the butt today? I don't know. All right? But together they will collaborate. Those energies will come into balance. and build something new. So what is the outcome when they come in and build something new? This is the Ace of Pentacles. Ta-da. Now, Ace of Pentacles, I think, is very loaded for me. Whenever I see it coming up in the last few months, it's not whenever, I do see it coming up, and it's like, it's part of a story that I've been getting about the twin flames, right? This closure, death. So what's the usual story that I've been getting since September? Twin flames will have to go through certain kind of death in their inner lives, not physically. Some kind of part of them has to die. There has to be closure. There has to be exploration and release and play. And then they come into the Ace of Pentacles. Now, what do I see today? The same story. Balance your energies, come into Ace of Pentacles. Why? Because Ace of Pentacles is related to the twin flame soul mission. Sorry, that's my cat. I've been trying to make both of them chill out by staying close to me, but from time to time they wake up and make noises. Anyway, so yeah, it's about coming into your soul mission in a very big way. So, like I said, both of these flames are working on their soul missions. These messages are not related to love. These are related to what you're doing in the world. And when you're working on refining that this week, and what ends up happening without you two realizing it is that you are actually at an energetic level, at the 5D level, coming together. When you do, the Ace of Pentacles kicks in, which means that great prosperity, great opportunity of some kind comes both of your ways. Now, this is mainly in the masculine part of the spread. So my feeling would be to say, my instinct is that it's an offer that the masculine gets in his workplace. Maybe that means he moves locations. But it's also pointing towards the feminine. And the feminine has also received the Ace of Pentacles in her story over the last few months. So this is a joint blessing, okay? Both of you need to work together in order for this to come, and this will benefit both of you. Okay, so this could also mean that a gift arrives of a contact, an opportunity, career-wise, because let's face it, all of this is about career. And if you're not in a formal career, it's about what you do in your day-to-day life, right? What you do to express yourself, what you do to express yourself, or what you do to make money, or both. And there's a big opportunity coming both your ways, but kind of spearheaded by the masculine. Okay. Now this is balanced by this is offset by celebration on the feminine side. Okay. 3 of Cups is also about working together, like 3 of Pentacles. Look at the mirroring of that. However, it's about it's more emotional than the 3 of Pentacles. The 3 of Pentacles was about you both being at the same plane in terms of your work, okay? Now this is about you really celebrating something, Divine Feminine. Now, I wonder what that could be, but please let me know what it is. I'm so curious, okay? But if you unleash your creativity on something, if you let your mind and body and spirit fly this week, you're going to have reason to celebrate. And this is there's a third party here, so it's about you and your masculine building something at an energetic level. You guys may not be in contact this week, but you will be now entering in 5D, that joint, you'd be entering into that, creating that third energy together kind of space, in the other dimension. All right, and in your practical 3D life, you're celebrating something. So is the masculine. And what you have in the middle is 10 of Cups, complete happiness, okay? So whilst people are talking about how scary the blood moon is and how much drama it's going to unleash, don't pay attention to that, twin flames, because as far as it goes for you, you are getting a massive opportunity, you're getting a gift, you're getting a blessing. Now, what could also, that's going to make you both very, very happy. Now, what could also happen is that you may not have like a concrete offer in your hand 21st January onwards, but you are at this time, something is going to happen behind the scenes. Like the gift is being given to you from the universe for starting around this time. And you may later realize that it was around the end of January that the wheels really started moving. Okay? But that universal flow of prosperity and ideas, contacts, and progress in a domain that is important to both of you is going to start flowing, and it brings you two together. So what this other part of the story that I've been seeing over the last few months is that no matter if you are both in very different professions, there's something that you are going to be doing together as twin flames. And that is the reason you come together. That is what this Ace of Pentacles is. And that is why the masculine brings it to the feminine. Okay? And again, you may not realize this now. Like you might decide to work on a business together 5 years from now. But now is the time from which, if you look back, energetically, the coming together happened. And there may be some sign in the 3D of that happening too. You might start to get some phone calls. You might start to get a LinkedIn request from someone you've been wanting to work with for a very long time. These are signs to watch out for, to know that the Ace of Pentacles energy is now flowing. And if it's flowing for you, it's also flowing for your twin. Now, I hope that for many of you, this will actually mean that you come into contact with your twin and there is explicitly a gift from the twin. But it could happen, what I've learned through this journey is it can happen also in very subtle layers. Which does not mean that it's not happening. It's just that it's happening at the most innermost levels possible. And when all of the innermost levels have been reached, that's when it manifests in the 3D. Okay, so now I pulled a few clarifying cards for each of these lines. Okay, so for my deciding factors, I picked these cards. And so what this tells you is the challenge that the masculine has is of coming out of this hermit energy. Okay, he has been a hermit over the last few months. That's because he's worried about losing the stability, the prosperity, the wealth in the big sense of the word that he has. And for that reason, he's gone into seclusion, but that's what he's going to have to come out of in order for this to start flowing, okay? Now, the King of Wands is what the feminine will have to face this week. And the clarification is she has to be open to... Well, Seven of Wands is about investing in long-term future, right? So she has to really give herself. Again, the idea is of giving. Give herself to her work and invest in her long-term future. This is going to both make her wealthy in the long run. My nose is blocked, sorry. And it's also going to make this energy thing flow because she has to be creative this week. There's just no other way around it. So it's the creativity that we had spoken of here. I had talked about, extracurricular things you could do like dance and music and theater and skiing. I don't know what people do, but it's that. Definitely do things which relax you and make you use your mind in innovative ways. But what I'm now receiving with this clarification is that bring the creativity into your project that you're working on. And Divine Feminines, you're working on something. Okay? Each and every one of you is working on something that is going to bear fruit long term. So don't try to bring the swords energy into it. Bring the enjoyment, playful, creative energy into it. And what's the clarification for the working together? It's a sort of time of rest, okay? So I think what that means is that you both are working together, but you're doing it in a quiet and restful way. So as you both, the image I'm getting right now is as you both lie in your beds at night, the work is happening in the 5D. That's the message. The work, that the collaboration of twin flames that this card suggests will happen in this coming week. That's a 5D collaboration. Because you guys are dealing with your lives right now. You're bringing a huge process to conclusion. You are being called on to come out of seclusion, come out of hermitage, come out of anxiety. And while you're doing that at night, when you don't even realize it, that's when you two are actually coming together and your energies are combining and you're building something new. The feminine is inspiring the masculine with her creativity. The masculine is inspiring the feminine with his drive. Okay? That's the work that's happening. Now, the outcome. Ace of Wands maps onto is the clarifier for Ace of Pentacles. So this is just emphasizing how important this outcome of this coming week is. Okay, so you should start to see the outcome around after the blood moon, 3 days after. So 22nd, 23rd, 24th. I'd even say 25th. This is a big opportunity. Ace of Wands translates as opportunity, okay? And a big dream, a big wish, okay? And it could be that you both are getting into some part of your career which you have always dreamed about, okay? It's like, this is it. This is what you want. And that energy of that is flowing, is going to flow. Do the work and it will flow. And it's bound to flow because Ace of Wands compounds this. Having two aces together means it's going to happen, people. So don't mess it up. Yeah, I was going to use stronger language, but you know what I mean. I'm too sick to use stronger language today, unfortunately. Now, another very good mapping onto the message. The outcome was Ace of Pentacles is going to make both of you, feminine's going to celebrate, going to make both of you very, very happy. And it's also about a domestic family life together, okay? A life together, right? Now the Sun clarifies that by saying it's a very optimistic time. This is a destined time. It's a time of innocence, return to innocence.